There have been a few occasions at which someone has asked Frank Turek whether their dead, non-Christian relative is in hell. Turek's answer is that if a person does not want to be with Yahweh in heaven, then he will not force them to go to heaven.
And he looked at me during the Q&A and he said, Frank, my mother was a survivor of the Holocaust. She lived an awful life. Somebody presented her with the gospel and she rejected it. Is she in hell right now? Whoa. I said, Eddie, I don't know where your mother is. I don't know if she made a profession of faith in her last moments, but if she didn't, then God will not force her into his presence against her will. God is too loving for that.
Sometimes Turek says that by not taking non-Christians into heaven, Yahweh is being a gentleman, because a gentleman would not force anyone to be in his presence who did not want to be in his presence. He's leaving them alone. This, of course, leaves out a lot of what Christians tell us about the afterlife. It leaves out the fact that the alternative to being in Yahweh's presence is eternal torment in hell. Even if it is the case that a non-Christian might not want to spend eternity in Yahweh's presence, relegating that person to the alternative option of an eternity in a place of maximum torment cannot be called gentlemanly with a straight face. Doing that to non-Christians is not merely leaving them alone. However, there are theological interpretations of what hell is that reject the descriptions involving a lake of fire and all that Hieronymus Bosch stuff. I would like to know whether Frank Turek subscribes to one of these interpretations. For example, William Lane Craig says,
"It seems to me that the essence of hell is what Paul describes in 1 Thessalonians 1:5, where he says, they shall suffer the punishment of exclusion from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his might." And I think that is the anguish of hell. It is separation from God, from all that is good and beautiful and lovely, to be left with one's own crabbed and selfish heart.
If there is a hell, and it really is the case that people send themselves to hell, as some apologists say, because they genuinely prefer not to be in the presence of Yahweh, then hell doesn't really sound all that bad. Actually, it doesn't sound like it would be bad at all if you're a genuine anti-theist. Many apologists claim that everyone believes in a God, and atheists just say they don't believe because they don't want to obey. If this were true, why should Christians convert atheists? If atheists really just hate Yahweh, why do evangelists want us to go to heaven? How would this constitute salvation? If those who reject a God's authority genuinely prefer not to be in his presence, then how is a Christian doing them any favors by preaching to them?